Hello, Real Talkers. Are you ready for today? We're going to talk about love with Cindy Seni.
Thank you so much for having me here.
It's so exciting.
Yes, it really, really is.
I just finished watching you last night, and to see you here, it's almost...
It's a little surreal.
I promise you.
The experience between TV and real life.
Absolutely. Jewish Matchmaking on Netflix now. And you are one of the main characters there. Cindy, my favorite. I promise you, even though it wasn't planned.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
That's amazing to hear.
Yes. But I owe you, I wanted to leave it in the end, but then I said, you know what, I'm going to open with this because such beautiful news. You are engaged.
Yes. That's true.
Amazing. Was Eliza your matchmaker?
Eliza was not my matchmaker, but we were actually matchmade by someone else. We were introduced by someone else. But Eliza definitely was there in terms of, she was there at the very beginning when I had a little bit of doubts. She was there with the coaching and the whatnot. So that was helpful. But yeah.
Cindy, let's talk about love.
Yeah.
Which is something that I love to speak about.
Right.
Firstly, how much did you expect before going on this show? How much love were you expecting from this show?
I really wanted to give the show a chance. I wanted to be able to find an experience that was different from the real world, and why not? Why not find it? Through a matchmaker or something like that, or through Netflix. Was I expecting to find my partner? I mean, there was a very probably little chance that I would.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I thought, why not? Because there's a lot of research, there was a lot of things that were done to kind of really find the one person for me. So yeah, I went in with like an open heart, really thinking, okay, let's find love on this thing.
Okay.
Why not?
Love this. But let's give our viewers a little bit of a background. Who are you? Where do you come from? Why are you here in Israel? Was it filmed here? I don't know.
Yes.
So
I was born in France originally, and I moved with my parents and my family in Canada, where I grew up. There, I worked I was very involved in the Jewish community, and I worked as a head of public diplomacy at the Israeli consulate in Toronto in Western Canada. And then I decided, I loved my job, but I really wanted to move to Israel. I always wanted to live here, so I left about 5 years ago. I made Aliyah, and then I went directly to the army. I was in the spokesperson's unit. Yeah, it was a crazy little journey. And then
you got busy right away.
I got busy. That's what this country does. Like no wasting time. And then essentially what happened was that I started working. I was always in social media and video editing. And I was in the public diplomacy world, in the public speaking in Israel and Judaism. And I started a blog through the ministry at the beginning. It was actually a hashtag called Israel with Cindy. It was following my Aliyah journey. And eventually it faded out, and I just used it as my own, Instagram, whatnot. And I started to post some reels or some content about being a single Jewish woman at the time, or what it's like to date in Israel and all the crazy stuff I had to endure. And that's essentially how I got they reached out to me. I guess Netflix or a casting director reached out to me through probably saw one of my crazy reels. And
Did you fall off the bed when they called you?
I honestly, I thought it was a joke. I was like, this is just spam, and I was like, this is not a real thing. And I think one of the things that convinced me was that they had a few links of like legit things, and I was like, well, maybe it's not so much of a scam, but I'll apply anyways and just see what happens. And that's how it kept going. I mean, a lot of months of kind of interviews and this and that and back and forth. The whole time I did not think I was going to get on at all. Like I didn't really care. I was in a point in my life where I had just broken up, and I was like, whatever happens, happens. Like, I put my full faith in God, and I was like, it is what it is. Like, if I get on, I get on. If I don't, I'm not going to stress it out. And I think it was my very calm energy that kind of made the producers like me.
For sure. In fact, you come across very real and very down to earth.
Thank you. I
wanting
that.
Real things. But we're going to get there soon. The only thing that this brought you to instant fame, is it something positive, negative? Are you scared? Is it overwhelming?
I was always a little bit inside the public eye in a one way or another, whether it was in the consulate, working in diplomacy, whether it was, in my blog or the IDF or whatnot.
But now they ask you for selfies.
Now they ask me for selfies. That's the difference. It's a little bizarre. But I don't really think about it so much. The only time it gets a little weird is when you go on Reddit, or there are whole forums about my love life now online, and I'm like, okay, I guess that's the part where it's a little it's a little weird.
Wow, that's overwhelming.
Otherwise, it's pretty much the same.
You mean life goes back? This is important for people to know. Yeah, you're still on Netflix because you're on now, but life is just back to normal.
Yeah. I mean, it can either overwhelm you or underwhelm you, I think.
Depends how you take it also.
Yeah. The only difference is that people now recognize you on the street, and sometimes you get those looks. They go something like,
is it her?
And then they just keep staring at you, and then I'm like, hi. Or I go to a restaurant and someone will tell me, I know you. I'm like, no, you don't. I'm like, no, we've met before. Okay. And I just say Netflix, and then they like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. But that's sweet. I think that's fun.
Very cute. Very cute. Cindy, I watched you, of course, to come prepared. I love the way you come wanting, you opened yourself right away to what you want. You're not La La Land. It's not Hollywood. You want a Jewish man. You want to start a family. You want children. Yeah. You want religious. I understand. So this is great. I mean, you were the only one that came across so down to earth.
I think I know that I don't have time to waste, and I feel like I've never really felt like I had time to waste in dating. A lot of people just date when they're young and they say, well, I have time, whatever. But I always knew what I wanted, even with my career or my job, whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know what I want, and I don't want to waste my time. I don't want the heartbreak, and I don't want the drama. I want and I think it's part of like moving to Israel. I wanted the truth. I don't want the fakeness of the
no butterflies.
No butterflies. No butterflies. I really don't like butterflies.
Interesting. I like this.
Yes.
Usually girls just want the butterfly feeling in their stomach.
No. I think that butterflies is something that's been taught to us by Hollywood and fantasies that it's like we must feel this like anxious, awkward feeling all the time, but in reality I think that I think those are usually toxic relationships, and it's good to feel it at the very beginning, but then it should really go into like a feeling of peace and a feeling of safety and comfort, and if you feel like you're scared to tell your partner something, it might be a little weird. That's not so great.
This is very mature of you. I mean, if I had these thoughts at your age, I would have it would have stopped a lot of disasters. How do you not go into a disaster, talking about disasters? I mean, you've been through a lot of different scenes. Yeah. You dated in Canada, you dated in Israel. You've been in the scene, and also the other people that were in the show.
Yeah.
We've seen different characters. Firstly, are you still in touch with them?
I'm in touch with a few of them. I didn't actually meet them until the show came out, and then we did a few Zooms and whatnot. Noah, I'm of course Eliza, I'm close to. Noah, I'm very close to because he lives in Israel. We met a few times.
Eliza gave you advice, like she really guided you.
She at the beginning of my relationship, yes, I remember one call with her that I had where I didn't know how, because me and my fiance were very different in terms of personalities, and I didn't really know how to
this one,
yeah. I didn't really know how to channel that, and she helped me kind of. She just told me in that conversation. She said, is it something that you're absolutely unable to deal with, or is it? Can you sit in silence with him for a little bit and just be okay with the fact that, he doesn't talk so much like I do, for example? And so that was really good advice for that. Okay. And I think that might have been the last advice she gave me regarding him. But I remember before that, I was in a relationship before him, and she helped me through that one.
Are you in touch with Daniel?
I saw him at the Jerusalem premiere, but I haven't spoken to him since. We have very amicable relationship. He's a great guy, and I hope he finds what he's looking for.
Daniel, if you want to come, you're invited. You know what I felt a bit? As much as Eliza is so welcoming and she has this beautiful smile and so easy to speak to, you all, apart from you, seriously, all of them seem like an like taking kids in a candy store. What do you want? I have a chance here. Elisa's going to bring me the perfect. And it wasn't like that. She made you feel, not she, the show makes you feel like, you were down to tachlis, as we say. And so what would be your advice, to the young generations who want to get married, be in a serious relationship, religious, build a family without too much balagan?
Yeah, I think in modern dating is very difficult, whether it's in the religious world or the secular world, which I've been in both. And it's a very difficult time to be looking because you have all these apps and you have so much choice. And the issue is that there's so much choice and there's always going to be better. Yeah. There's always going to be someone that's more fit, someone that's more attractive, someone who's going to give you more. But I think one advice that really resonated with me with time, not when I was younger, but with time was not to think so much. Sometimes our brains get, well, what about this? Well, I can have better, or I can do better, or, he doesn't give me everything that I want, everything that I've been given. It's like, don't think too much about it. Do you enjoy spending time with him or her? Do you want to see them again? Those are basically the two questions you need to ask yourself. And do they treat you right? And do you feel at peace? Mm-hmm. And I think if you answered yes to those questions, that's probably a good sign. And I would just tell people, there's so much anxiety. I think especially in the Jewish world about finding someone, and there's a lot of pressure. And I had pressure myself, and it's like, oh, you're 25. It's not so bad, but you're 26. You're 27 and 29.
What's wrong with the girl? What's wrong with her?
Yeah, and it's like, exactly. It's like, oh, now you're stressing about your biological clock going and all these things. And I wouldn't stress too much. I would just, like, Hashem forgets no one, and it's like, it's just whatever your time is going to be, it's going to be. Nice. But the more you stress about it, the more it's going to be. And I used to stress about it all the time. Yeah. But and like I did an interview a few days ago where I said I never felt like it was going to happen to me, the engagement, because you see everyone else kind of go through it and you're like, well, when is it going to happen to me? And it feels so surreal, but it does. And most people do get married, and most people, it's going to be okay. So I would just not stress out, don't think too much, and just kind of, put your faith in God.
I think God has a very important part in this. In the end,
yes.
If you pray, if you believe in the right, Torah lays it out for us very nicely how to find the right shidduch, and then a lot of faith and a lot of patience.
I mean, I started dating seriously. I was 20. I didn't find until 29. So it doesn't really mean anything at the end of the day. And some people say, oh, you married too young or you married too late, but what does that mean? Because it's different for everyone, and it could be it's different. It's just not everyone. It's not a playbook.
So now I see that he proposed to you at the Kotel. Yes. What the most amazing place.
I know. So actually our first date was at the Kotel. We went to Slichot together last September. So he wanted to propose at the Kotel too for like a full, like a closing circle. And it's also my happy place. So I love the Kotel. That was the first place I came to when I made Aliyah.
You're getting married here?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I wanted to get married in a castle, but we'll get married in Israel. So.
Does he know about he's getting adjusted to your celebrity status, or he's okay with it?
He's not a person that likes the limelight. He really, likes to stay. Yeah, he likes to stay away. He doesn't have any social media and any of that stuff.
Oh, wow!
Yeah,
you took an extreme.
Yeah.
Does he have Netflix?
He has Netflix, yes. But he doesn't like to be in the spotlight, but he totally allows me to be, and I think that's
the best.
Yeah, and he has I had to teach him what reels were, and I would show him some of my stuff, and he's like, I don't get it. I'm like, yeah.
That's really like extreme opposite attract, huh?
100%.
Cindy, I wish you all the best. I'm really so happy to know that you're engaged when I heard it, and that you're getting married soon, and you're here in Israel. You're real.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And I really hope people listen to you because you have very good points.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you for having me on. It was so much fun.
Thank you so much. And I hope you learned a few points today on love, and have a good one. See you next time.